What's up, you guys? Teller checking in for the prop edition for UFC St. Louis as promised. And remember now, make sure you guys mark down in your diaries that we're doing a prop edition every week. For every card, we're doing a prop edition video now. This is a guarantee. It's coming your guys' way. So like I said, go find your diaries and go cross your legs, lay in your bed, fiddle your toes behind your head there, and scribble in the Teller is doing a prop edition video every week, and it's probably going to come out to you guys Thursday nights. Okay, so for those of you profiteers out there, and for those of you guys that are looking for the prophecy, here it is. If you could just pause for a second and hit that like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed. I know you hear every YouTuber saying that in your ears, but if you could really just stop it and make that action, it really helps me out a lot. So if you have any love for the Teller, please do. And just note that we are powered by BETUS. Okay, if you make an account through the link in my description, you're going to get a 125% match on your first 3 deposits. It's where it's at. No one's doing the bonuses like BETUS. So if you guys make a deposit through that, I got a gift for you. And before we jump into the first over under specific method of victory type of play that I want to talk about, if you guys are interested in my 6 official plays that I have locked in for this card, just reach out to me.
Welcome to the show. This is the MMA fortune teller. Yeah.
The MMA fortune teller.
The teller.
As we take a look at the start of this card, we're actually going to gloss over the first 2 fights, and we are going to stop over at the Jake Hadley versus Charles Johnson fight, which, if you guys caught my full prediction video, you guys know I am very excited for this matchup. I'm a big Hadley guy. I know he has a lot more to prove, but I like his fighting style and I like his potential. I think he has a very high ceiling, but needs to put it together. And then also Charles Johnson, he's a G. He's always fun to watch. He brings the fight. You guys know he had his back against the wall in his last fight. He delivered, and I like this fight. Now, we're going to go look at some of the prop lines that we have available for this fight. And I just want to kind of put an asterisk next to this one because I would just warn you to be a little wary with this, but there's a couple bets that I did want to talk about. And, the story on this fight is both men have never been finished, okay? But both fighters are essentially fight finishers, especially if you look at the work Hadley's been doing. If Hadley's getting his hand raised, he's pretty much getting a finish as far as his recent fights under the UFC banner. And the Cody Durden fight that he lost, he was so close to getting a submission victory in that fight there too. He would have then been on a 3-fight winning streak with all finishes, and then he also had the submission on the Contender Series. Okay, his boxing's nice, he works the body, but his sub skills are legit. Now the issue here is that Charles Johnson, like I said, he's never been finished either. He's a very game fighter, but I think that Hadley is going to be searching for that finish like he always does. He will, without a doubt, be looking to end this fight. Okay, this isn't the type of fighter that looks to win a decision. I also think that there's going to be a lot of energy flowing in the cage for this fight, so they are going to be clashing, and there's a realistic possibility that we could see a finish in this fight. So you could peek at the unders if you want, but there's something more specific I want to talk about. Under 2.5 rounds, you can get that right around plus 200 odds. Okay, 2-to-1 odds on an under 2.5 rounds, which is almost the whole fight, and you can get it either way. But I think if we see a finish, I think that it's going to be Hadley getting a finish here. Now, Hadley to win via TKO/KO is plus 700. I mean, those are some steep odds. I don't think that's as likely as the sub. I really like his sub game, and if they play around on the mat a little bit, maybe Hadley sneaks in a sub and gets that first ever finish over Johnson. You can catch that as high as plus 500. I've seen it around plus 500. You see it over here at plus 470. But those are just some bets maybe you want to keep an eye on. Decent value, I would say. You're getting some bang for your buck there, but it's a little risky because Johnson's a game fighter too. But take a peek over at those if you're kind of smelling that Hadley finish, or if you're backing Hadley here. What do you say we do a little pit stop over to the lightweight division where we got Terence McKenna taking on Estaban Ribovics. This is a very exciting fight on the card. Terence McKenna, a very boomer bust type of fighter. 6 losses, all via finish. Knocked out in 4 of them, subbed in 2. Of course, the knockout ones I would say are a little bit more memorable, dating back to his Dana White's Contender Series debut, where he was hit with that flying knee by Sean Woodson, and he was also recently knocked out by Drew Dober. One of the Bonfim brothers got him. It was Ismail Bonfim, and I'm trying to remember, did he pull? He had the knockout as well. It was Nazim Sadyakov that also just subbed him recently. So again, just a very boom or bust type of fighter. If you guys caught my full prediction video, I do sense that Estaban Ribovics is gonna have an opportunity to touch McKinney in this fight, and I don't really trust McKinney's defensive skills, and I don't really trust his chin. He kind of collapses when he's hit. So that is the way I see this fight going. But as we take a look at some of these lines here, there are some interesting ones out there. All right, so check this out. McKinney to win via decision is as high as a plus 1,400. I find that a little strange. I understand that all of McKinney's wins have been by knockout as well, and he's kind of a front runner, but he does have wrestling skills. He's a danger striker. Let's say he happens to not find that finish. You're telling me that McKinney can't potentially win a decision in this fight? It's very unlikely this fight goes to a decision, but if it does, to get those types of odds is a little strange to me, because Estaban Ribovics, if I see him getting the job done, I kind of, like I said, I favor him finding that finish as well. I don't feel overwhelmingly more confident that if it goes to a decision, that it's going to be his fight. So I found the line there a little intriguing, as far as that plus 1,400, plus 1,300 type of line on a McKinney to win by decision, if it's going to go there. Now, another thing that I found kind of interesting as well is that Ribovics is as high right now as a minus 170. So he's a decent favorite in the spot here. If I do see him getting the job done, most likely it's going to be by a knockout. So to drop from a minus 170 all the way to a Ribovics knockout, which is going to drop all the way to as high, I see it on some of these books as high as a plus 135. Okay, so you could shop those kind of lines, plus 120, plus 110. I mean, to go from minus 170 to dog odds, to go for that specific method of victory of the knockout, which is his most likely avenue. I'm not as worried about the sub threat. I think it's worth the distance there, the difference there. If you want to target this fight, if you want to target Ribovics, I would take him via KO and get those dog odds there. So just some of my thoughts there.
BETUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BETUS, where the game begins.
We'll stick around in the lightweight division. Chase Hooper versus Slava Borchev. This is a good fight to follow up the last one we just talked about here, because I can make a nice little point here. I have Borchev getting a knockout in this fight, right? If you guys caught my video, you heard me say that. I think that Borchev is going to find a knockout here. I have some major concerns about Chase Hooper's defense, and I think when you have an offensive threat like Borchev in front of you and then matched up with the defensive skills of Hooper, I think it could be a major problem. I do see Borchev getting a knockout, but now with these types of lines, it's not worth it to target. It's not worth it to drop down to a specific method of victory for Borchev, because you can catch Borchev right now. So right now on BETUS, he's a minus 145, right? To go from a minus 145 for him just to win this fight, compared to if you take it via knockout and only getting the difference of a line of a Borchev to win by knockout right now on some of these books, I mean, I'm seeing a minus 108. It's a minuscule difference. We're talking about what, 35, 40 points or so. I don't think that there's as much of a difference here in this spot. So, I mean, talking about from the last fight, a difference of like a 25, 30 points, but that might be the difference of you staying away from targeting this as via knockout. And I would almost say there is more value. This might catch you guys from left field here, but you might want to just target Borchev if you're looking for a prop on this fight instead of just taking the money line. Maybe a Borchev to win via decision, which you can get it as high. I've seen on some of these books at plus 700 right now. Okay, at plus 700, yes, there's a very likely chance that we see a finish in this fight, whether it's the Borchev knockout or maybe Hooper can pull off some magic down on the mat, and people are going to feel that if Borchev does win this fight, it's going to be dropping the sledgehammer on Hooper. But okay, what happens if Hooper has one of those outings where he toughs it out? And we have seen him do that before, okay? Even dating back to when he was just a young kid. All right, he was the original youngster in Dana White's Contender Series. If you remember the fight that he had, which was against the Hawaiian, Kanan Kwahi, that was a fight where he took a lot of damage and toughed it out, went to a decision. We've seen him do that before, okay? The Alex Caceres fight, the Steven Peterson fight, took a lot of damage in those fights and did not get finished. It's also worth noting the Peter Barrett fight. That was a fight where he did find that sub in the third round, but took some damage throughout that fight. That's the point I'm making there. So he has toughed it out before, but then he has those other different type of performances like the Steve Garcia fight. And like I said, I still do question his defensive skills, and I think that Slava will drop that sledgehammer on him. But if you want to target a value line, maybe you target Slava Borchev via decision. It's a much more juicy line. And if this fight goes to a decision, I would actually still favor Slava to win the fight. I think he'll be the fighter landing damaging shots. He'll have moments where he'll have the most impactful moments in these rounds. And I could see him winning a decision as well. But I do have Slava getting that knockout. Now, this will be the last one I'll leave you with. We're talking Wen Buckley taking on Nursultan Rozaboyev. Very, very excited for this fight. And you guys have seen Buckley going buck all fight week on social media. He's a wild dude. He's amped up for this moment. I would say, without a doubt, this is the biggest fight of his career, fighting in his hometown. You could just see his spirit, and you could see the energy he's bringing into this fight week. This is a huge moment for him. But you guys know I do feel that Rozaboyev is the real deal. I do. I think he's a solid fighter. Now, there's some question marks without a doubt. There's question marks there, but I think that he's going to prove to be a legitimate fighter in the UFC here, and he's a very dangerous dude. I would not overlook the last two performances that he just had, knocking out Bruno Ferreira and Cedriques Dumas, finishing both of them in the first round. Those are two fighters that have proved to be dangerous in their own rights. Even Dumas is slowly proven he's actually a decent fighter. So don't completely overlook Rozaboyev. I mean, there's question marks in regards to his game, but don't forget also, we've seen Buckley knocked out before. In fact, Buckley, out of his 6 losses, he's been knocked out 4 times. Okay, of course, the Holland knockout. I do question his chin. And when you have a sniper like Rozaboyev, I think there is a very realistic possibility that we see Buckley knocked out in his hometown. You could have got Rozaboyev as high as a plus 350. You could still shop that line right now. He's right around plus 330, plus 330 to 350. I think there might be some value on a Rozaboyev knockout. And besides just the knockout bet you could target, you may want to take a look at a Rozaboyev submission bet as well, which you will get a little bit of a better line. It's right around plus 430 to plus 400. Now, here's the thing, right? Rozaboyev has been knocking dudes out recently. When you see his attack in the octagon, he's looking to starch these dudes. But don't forget, if you take a look at his overall resume, this is a fighter with 34 victories, 16 of them via submission. All right, so this is a dude that I do believe has a ground game. Okay, he's not like your typical Dagestani type of wrestler, so don't be expecting that type of grappling, but he's a dude that has submission threats in his arsenal. And I know Buckley's never been subbed either, but if he's hurt, maybe Rozaboyev follows it up with a sub. That's something you can keep an eye on as well. Or let's just see what Rozaboyev inside the distance is. That's going to be right around plus 175 to plus 200. Which that compared to where the line is now, the money line is now, which you could have got him at like plus 135. Now it's closing in at even odds on some of these books. I mean, on BetUS right now, it's at even odds, and you could have got it as high as plus 135. But maybe you want to take a specific method. Maybe the inside the distance. Rozaboyev hasn't really been going to decisions, and if it does go to a decision, maybe it's not his night. Maybe he does need to find that finish. So maybe the difference in the value there would be worth it to target at this point in time. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up this prop edition video. Appreciate you guys very much. Don't forget, we are powered by BETUS. If you guys are looking to open up a new account and get ready for this card here, remember, I'm going to give you a gift as well. I'm going to give you some winners, but make an account through the link in the description of this video. You're going to get a 125% match on your first 3 deposits. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Hope this video gave you some help. Hopefully you cash in on one of these, and comment below. Let me know a prop or any type of prop bet that you're targeting. Comment below one that really stood out to you. Maybe a fight that we didn't even talk about here, something that caught your eye. And you guys know I'm always checking the comment section, so I would love some feedback, and maybe you guys can give me a winner and or something that seems good to me that I can potentially eye. All right, I appreciate you guys. Leave you guys with that. Have a great week. I will catch you on IG. Leading up to fight night. We'll be hanging out there. MMA Fortune Teller _ and on Twitter as well, the MMA Teller. We'll be hanging out Saturday. All right, guys, signing out. Teller.
Welcome to the show. This the MMA Fortune Teller. Yeah.
The MMA Fortune Teller.
The teller.